Have there ever been situations where, you're working with a client and you just see, uh-oh, this doesn't look good, or like,
Connie, do you talk about the one that you sold the practice to that nobody wanted to touch?
That was a tough one. And
Yeah.
it was a dental practice, and it was the practice and the real estate. Well, the owners of the practice had kind of already, like, they took a lot of steps ahead from what they should have. So they were moving out of state. So they were starting to slow their practice down. So they were working very minimal. They also had like a new baby that was born. It was just all of this stuff that was impacting their current business. So it wasn't the thriving business that was on paper anymore. Like, they had a great business there, but they had already started to wind it down and kind of jump ahead. And they had, I think, one, possibly two deals that almost went through. So they were already like counting their chickens way before they hatched, and both deals fell through. It was not a good situation. And they had already started building their new location in another state. So it needed to be sold. Nobody wanted it because it was already slowing down as far as patients and stuff. And yeah, I just showed I was working with a buyer that was looking, actually, she was looking to lease. They have a business, and they were just expanding, and they were looking to lease. And I just threw it out to them like, hey, I don't know if this might be a possibility. They looked at it. They loved the location. That's the whole reason they moved forward, because they
hmm,
loved the location. And so it ended up going from a client that was just going to lease and expand to purchasing a practice and real estate. Real estate is one of those things where you just don't ever know. So it's like closed mouths don't get fed. That's what I always tell my kids. So it's like,
yeah.
just speak, like, say what's there, and you never know. It's like connecting the dots. Like, you never know what's going to match up. And another one where I really, thank goodness, I like looked at everything, because it was a veterinarian in Santa Fe that was going to purchase this building that was set up perfectly for what they wanted to do with their vet space. It was going to be over $1 million purchase. Right before the purchase agreement was agreed on, I decided to make sure it was zoned for a vet space, and it was not zoned for a vet space. It was like a compound pharmacy type of place. They did like a lot of naturopathic stuff. And yeah, that would have been, if the purchase agreement would
Oh
have,
man.
Oh
you know what I
no.
mean? And then they couldn't do the vet, but nobody really thought twice about it. I mean, it was a commercial building, but there's just, yeah, vets are the one thing where it usually needs special zoning, just because, the noise, all of the plumbing and animal stuff. And yeah, so I
So
can't
what
remember what the
happened?
zoning is, but so yeah. And the crazy thing was this client was on a really strict non-compete. Santa Fe's not that big.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they were on a non-compete of, I think, like 6 miles, which is almost all of Santa Fe, I feel like. I don't,
Yeah.
like, on my map where I was like searching, there was not very much. We had already been working with them for a year trying to find a space outside of the non-compete. So when we found that space, it was like, oh my gosh, we found the space. So everyone was just so excited. And then the zoning happened. So didn't happen. And then luckily there was another space that I found for them. They leased it. They did a 10-year lease in a really great location. And
And what a great story about them, because on top of that, then you referred them to us, and we ended
oh
up doing
yeah,
their
yep,
accounting.
yep.
And then they told us about the bank that did the funding, that they do funding for like everybody. And
Yeah.
so like even businesses that are hard to fund, that banks may turn their back on, they referred us to this one banker, and we got another deal done through that banker because they did some lending on another business opportunity, which we actually it's funny because we have a meeting with him this week for
Oh,
another.
funny. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So it's all like when you say connections, right? It's
Yeah.
all about connections and who can help you get your clients.
Yeah. And I think that's like the really awesome thing about working in this industry in New Mexico, especially. I have met so many different professionals, business owners, everything, and everybody is so willing to help the client, whether it's going to bring them business or not. So I can't name one that isn't like, you know what, I can't help them, but this person can definitely help them. So that's a huge value that, all of us that kind of work together that we bring to our clients, we really are connectors. So when I work with my client, I always tell them, whatever you need, whether it's like your phone system or like tax help or more lending or any construction. I work with a lot of contractors. Like I will know somebody that can help you. If not directly, that has the connection that you need. So I always hope that people that I work with don't ever get like, I don't know who to call for this. Like just call, like we're gonna know somebody,
I know,
so
right?
quickly together. So
You said
And
you
I
do a lot
think
of,
even Rachel working in Houston, she knows more people or connections here in New Mexico than she does in Houston.
That's definitely true. When I say like, oh, welcome, I mean welcome to New Mexico.